Jasper, I thought I told you not to. Little flower, what brings you to me at this late an hour? Ah, yes, you can't sleep. Perhaps a story then. What story would you wish to hear? Oh, you wish to hear more about my past? Are you sure, my dear? Well, since you insist. This tale is not the easiest to hear, I warn you. But come close, my dear, and sit by my side. My story began 741 years ago. I was a man with my own hopes and dreams for the future. It was a day much like today, beautiful, and the air carried the smell of flowers upon the summer wind. Oh, I'll never forget it. I was to join houses with another noble house, and to be married to my beloved Eleanor, my childhood friend. We were inseparable. The day before the wedding, she gifted me a necklace which bore a purple rose, her favourite flower, and a symbol of elegance, honour, and of course beauty. Ah, she was beautiful. She was like a painting that came to life, and a smile that would win any heart. I was grateful. It was a gift from the heart which forever linked me to her. Those days were peace-filled and filled with only happiness, though I was not prepared for what would happen next. Little did I know there was a darkness who would come and take that all away from me. To return the favour, I had been secretly tending to a magical garden of roses nearby. I wished to surprise her, as roses were indeed her favourite. I cultivated them to never die and forever shine their beauty. I asked her to wait for me for just one moment so I could collect her gift. My joy and happiness quickly turned to horror and shock, as all of a sudden whilst collecting the roses, I heard a desperate, painful scream come from the direction of where I left Eleanor. I recall the fear inside of me as I ran with all of my strength back to her, the roses still in hand. I arrived at the special place under the tree where I left her and came face to face with the horrific beast, a vampire. To my horror, I saw that she was lifeless in his grasp. I looked in fear at my beloved, lifeless and blood dripping off her fingertips. My heart stood still in that moment as I saw her in the beast's grasp. Suddenly, the fear left its clutches from around me as I lunged at the beast without fear, desperately trying to release Eleanor from the creature's grasp.
You abomination! I'll kill you!
I screamed at the beast. Suddenly, in a flash of light, the beast moved, parrying my attack and biting me on the neck. I recall my strength leaving me and it suddenly fading to black. I am not sure how much time had passed, but I awoke alone with pain all over my body and a blinding, painful light hit my eyes. The beast was gone and also Eleanor with him. The only thing that remained is the blood spilt that night, and of course the purple roses I had intended for her, strewn across the meadow. I could barely open my eyes for the pain it inflicted was intense. I reached my hand out towards the warmth of the sunlight, only to feel the skin burn before my eyes. I screamed out in pain, calling out to Eleanor, with no response. I realized I was a prisoner to the shadow of the tree that was once our special place, my mind racing with thoughts of the loss of my beloved. After the sunset, I walked into the nearest town and was met with screams of fear.
Abomination!
They screamed. They assumed that I was the beast that had been killing innocent people. They named him Jericho, the vampire who took my beloved Eleanor.
I'm innocent,
I proclaimed. They did not listen. Despite some of the townsfolk knowing who I was, and my family well, they remained silent and looked away from what happened next.
Please, don't do this!
I pleaded as they dragged me to the town crypts, dehumanizing me and spitting at me and saying the most vilest things. They threw me into an empty casket, staked my heart, and buried me alive. I screamed one last time before the lid sealed.
No! Eleanor!
Many years had passed, countless lives beginning and ending, whilst I remained a prisoner. My emotions were draining away over time. The only thing to keep me company was reliving my final day alive as the human I used to be, and the horror of what transpired. After 741 years of waiting, a curious traveller wandered into my crypt. Of course, you know it was you who saved me that day, little flower. You, who unleashed the chains that bore me down. Together, we will get revenge for those who wronged me. But anyway, that is not the most interesting story that I have to tell. No, dear flower. Our story begins now. Let us go and meet the rest of them, shall we?